7th Street.
And they got,
And
Ready?
every overpass, there was.
Oh, zero
You
gas.
hear me okay?
We're
All
ready.
right, let's call the Public Safety Committee meeting to order. Take the roll, please.
Bates,
Here.
Holman,
Here.
Sardina.
here,
Oh, Tarks, sorry.
Any persons desiring to be heard? No? All right, consideration of the minutes from October 17th, 2023.
I'll make a motion to accept those minutes.
a second.
All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We will not have a fire report tonight, so you are it. Ready when you are, Chief?
Yep.
Captain?
All right, good evening, everybody. I guess I'm choosing to stand instead of sitting like maybe the predecessor, but we'll see how this goes. So some updates from the police department. First thing I want to touch on is our hiring update. We've been taking applications for a little under 2 months now, have received some quality applicants, and last week we extended a conditional offer to a candidate who's currently a Milwaukee police officer. We're working on his background investigation. He has his psychological exam, his medical, and his drug screen scheduled for this week. All signs are pointing towards that he'll be successful in at least the completion of the background and hopefully those other phases. And our goal is to have a start date for him in early February, ideally before Chief Wentland leaves is our goal. So that's progressing well. He has experience with Milwaukee Police Department. Joe Benson went down and talked to his direct supervisors last night, and one of them was fairly upset that we were looking at him and he was going to be leaving. So maybe a good sign for us and in that process. So he also has some prior experience with Germantown Police Department. And when we went through the process, Troy, this is the only department that he applied for. So he gave some very specific reasons why he wanted to work in Butler, why he wanted to work for a smaller agency, what attracted him to us here in Butler and the department, and really has a feel that his father's a Milwaukee police officer, his brother's a Milwaukee police officer. He tried it and he doesn't like the feel of being in the big city and the type of policing they do. He wants to have more of a personal impact on people in a community and likes to draw here with that. So hopeful that progresses as planned. As far as obviously Chief coming up here, February 16th will be his last day. We've been working pretty feverishly the last few weeks on transitioning, seeing a lot of the aspects of his job that either I was not directly familiar with or just the specific details of those things. So we feel good about where we're at and the progress with that. We are planning a swearing in oath of office ceremony for myself the evening of February 15th, which is a Thursday. And our goal is to have that oath of office take place on Thursday night the 15th, effective February 16th. Dave's last day and his luncheon on the 16th, and then we are ready to roll from there. So I believe that you all have some sort of invitation sent if you haven't gotten it yet on that for the 15th. So short ceremony. I know that I have had several people personally ask me what that was going to look like and if they could attend. I was actually kind of surprised at the I guess number of people in my life that wanted to be a part of that. So that's what we're going to make happen. So looking forward to that. The transition with the captain position, we're still on pace with that along with our specialist. Our goal time-wise is I want to use Benson as a field training officer still, and we want to make sure that we maintain our staffing. So as we've discussed previously, or I presented previously, the plan will be to leave the captain's position vacant for a few months while we hire the new person, get them through training, start the transition with the specialist position. And I would anticipate, if the timing is well, May, maybe June 1st at the latest, we would have those promotions ready to roll and in place. So that's kind of our timeline. Last month, our entire department went through 4 hours of firearms training and 4 hours of defensive tactics training. That's part of our multi-jurisdictional training group. that we participate in with other agencies in Waukesha County. Our trainers and our instructors are a big part of that training, being firearms and defensive tactics. So I'm a certified firearms instructor, Joe Benson on the defensive tactics side, and he also has an extensive background in martial arts and has really brought a lot to our group as far as training. And so the other agencies that we work with, not only are we training other members of other agencies in Waukesha County, but they're very appreciative of us and our department being involved in those training opportunities. So it's a great opportunity to get a viewpoint outside of just here in Butler, and we get to know and work with all these other officers. So there's a great benefit to that. Additionally, we completed our mandatory annual state handgun qualification course. So there's a state requirement for police officers to maintain their certification. Annually, they have to pass a handgun qualification course. So all of our officers went through that, successfully completed that qualification, and are good to go for another year in that capacity. Call volume, you can see there over the last quarter of 23, we were up almost 300 calls in that time frame from 2022. Just looking at the numbers, I would attribute a lot of that to traffic stops and traffic numbers, which are included in those instances. But again, shows to the fact that even with guys being on vacation, 12-hour shifts, et cetera, our guys are staying active and are out there proactively patrolling. A couple other points I just want to make that I had printed before I added, but we did just last week, we received 2 portable speed signs. So we looked at purchasing those last year. So we got versions that they look very similar to what is on Hampton. They're a little bit smaller. They're meant to be portable. We did get the solar panels that will attach to them, so we can leave them in locations longer than just a few days. So we have a meeting set up in February to get onboarded with that program, exactly how to use them. There's features where there's cloud access. We can download data directly from the signs without even having to go out to the scene. So I'm excited to get those out as the weather warms up a little bit. If we have specific complaints, we're able to put them in those areas. We're able to identify areas on our own where we might want to put extra signs to try to slow traffic down. And again, I'm really looking forward to the data piece. It will tell us how many cars go by at any given time within an hour, each hour, how many cars go by, what their average speed is, what their top speed is, what the lowest speed is. Just a lot of data that we can collect to see where we in fact do have problems. Also utilized as a traffic calming measure. We put them on a side street where there's not normally a speed sign. There's data to support that it will slow traffic down in those areas. So it was a good piece of equipment, and we're excited to have that. One other piece also, tomorrow morning, we have several of our officers. We participate in in a investigative group throughout Waukesha County. So it's anytime there's a major incident, it's a major incident investigative group. We have resources that we can call in from other suburban agencies, and we support others. And without giving too much information, 3 of our officers are going to go and help another jurisdiction tomorrow morning on a search warrant that they're working on. So again, it's just another piece of that cooperation with other agencies, how we're helping them out. And again, it always comes around that when we need help, we have a tremendous amount of resources and relationships built that will help us out in that regard. Getting down into the incident section, just a couple things I want to highlight. Armed robbery that's listed there, that was from end of December. It was an armed robbery subject to the handgun at the gas station, took money from the clerk. Our guys put a lot of time and effort into it. We also had some resources reach out to us from the FBI Violent Crimes Task Force. They have a lot of resources, and we're working together. While working on investigating this case, this same suspect has committed 2 other armed robberies, one in Milwaukee at a pharmacy, one in Wauwatosa at a restaurant. Same suspect for various reasons. We're able to confirm that and are working at identifying that person, but we feel confident that that investigation is moving forward. Nobody in custody at this time. The burglary from back in October that occurred at the Cardinal Club. Somebody broke out a window, broke into the bar after hours. Officer Bartosik was called there, responded, and arrested the subject. As he arrived, the suspect was outside of the bar, and he was actually putting on a prosthetic leg that had fallen off during the process of this burglary. But he was placed under arrest. He was criminally charged with burglary, and we just got notification that the case was dismissed, and it's because the defendant is deceased for some unknown reason. So arrest was made, but that case has now been resolved. The child abuse case that we had, that was also back in October. That was a case that we had a 7-year-old boy that was walking down Hampton Avenue, unattended, alone. It was a case where a mom and boyfriend that lived here in Butler disciplined the child in a way that he felt he had no other recourse but to run away. We intervened, were involved with Child Protective Services, exams at the hospital, and as of such, 2 adults have been charged with felony child abuse in that case, and that's going through the court processes. I testified in prelim court about 2 weeks ago on that, and they were bound over for trial on those charges. The attention to the frauds, we had a pretty significant mortgage fraud case occur here in Butler. It's still ongoing, but I can provide some details related to it. It started out as a resident who wanted to quickly sell their house and looked for one of those We Buy Homes type sites. Got hooked up with some people that we're now finding out are less than trustworthy. The house was sold. It is legally sold. However, in the process, there was a deal that was made between the seller and the buyers, in which she would provide them upwards of, there was 3 outstanding checks for $190,000 for them to remodel the house after she sold it to them. So we actually got a tip from one of the banks that this individual was trying to obtain like $90-some thousand in cash. That didn't seem right, so they brought it to our attention, and we, Benson has spent a lot of time working on this along with Foos. The good piece is we did get $110,000 of the person's money back to them. The bank was able to stop payment through some unconventional means, but so that person was not out any money other than they did sell their house. So we're still working on a fraud case with the district attorney's office on that. The individuals involved seem to have some history with that, and so we caught it on the back end. But at least we were probably hours away from this money being gone from this lady. So that is all I have on the front side of said report. Skateland summary and update. You can see a couple calls that were highlighted there. 13 calls for service over the 3-month period. Back in October, I guess those 2 are out of order by 2 days, but there was a physical fight inside involving 3 females and a male, ex-boyfriend and girlfriend who just happened to run into each other at the roller rink. Female says that the male came up to her and instigated it. Male said that he was targeted by his ex-girlfriend and her friends who were instigating it. There was no good video inside of the incident and conflicting statements, so no arrests were made. Restraining order I checked has since been issued in Milwaukee County against the male related to that case, but we've had no further problems with those 2 individuals. Entry to autos. So 27th of October, there were a total of 4 vehicles that had their windows smashed out and were entered in the parking lot. Security approached the subjects who were breaking into cars when he heard glass breaking. There was a firearm that was stolen out of one of the victims' vehicles. Not sure if it's the same one that was used, but security reported that one of the suspects brandished, basically drew a firearm from his waistband towards security. So he backed off and called us. They did get a plate on the vehicle. However, it was reported stolen through Franklin. 2 days before this happened, we did not locate the vehicle as suspects. However, I checked with Michael, who was investigating this, and after this occurred, one of the victim's credit cards was used down in the city of Milwaukee, and shortly after, Milwaukee police got in a pursuit with this vehicle, which crashed, and we never heard that the firearm was recovered. It's still listed as stolen, so we don't know what the outcome was, but that's the kind of individuals that were involved in that. And then just another call in December. Subject made a threat towards security, implied that he had a weapon. There's a group of teens that were denied access, causing problems. No weapons were located, and they were relocated to a bus stop at their request. And the rest of the calls for service you can see there. And that is the end of the report I have.
Are we still comfortable with the way security is being handled with Skateland?
Overall, yes. So these are obviously the couple incidents that,
Right.
that were highlighted. I did speak with Nick today on the phone. He said he could be here if absolutely needed, but had misscheduled some things. So I provided him with the rest of the dates for public safety meetings for the remainder of 2024, and he said he would be happy to attend those. So
Okay, thank you.
The question about the traffic signs,
yes,
you said we're getting 2 of them?
we have 2 of them. Yep.
Okay, and then are they like, you can put them up someplace for 6 months and then move them, or is it a permanent?
Yep. No, they're portable. So
Okay.
I mean, we can literally put them up for a week, 2 weeks.
Just
We
curious.
don't know exactly how easy they are to mount and to move, but based on looking at them and the demo we got, we previewed like 3 different signs before we bought these. They seem pretty user friendly. There also is an option that you can attach a plate to various locations and then just move the sign. So we'll figure out what works
Yeah,
best.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thanks. Okay, due to a little miscommunication, we do not have a fire department report tonight, so can I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And second.
Any discussion? We are adjourned at 5:46.